This is Just the Tips with Brandon and Marina. We're here to talk to you guys about casting, and what we're going to be doing for this class is doing a group casting call where basically everyone's going to come in. They're going to be coming in and bringing 2 monologues, trying to keep them under 10 minutes. They'll be from films, from plays. They can write their own if they want to. Basically, a monologue is like in a film, if one character has a big chunk of dialogue where they're talking about something and they're doing this. What I'm doing right now is a monologue. I'm speaking one thing over the course of a long length of time. So they'll be doing that. So some of them you might recognize. Some of them they might try to imitate what the actor did originally in the film. So that's just something to keep in mind. Again, with auditions, it's not easy to get a performance based off of one audition or even a group casting call where everyone brings in a monologue. So in filmmaking, in indie filmmaking, it's good to have separate auditions with your sides and with your script where people come in and read. That's how we did. That's what we've done. That's how I've done all my stuff, and that's how we did for Sync. And yeah. So, but for this one, it's just a group casting call. There's gonna be a lot of experienced actors coming in, a lot of very professional actors, and some who are just learning or have done this only a couple of times.
Yeah, and just remember, some people are gonna suck, and some people are gonna do really great.
True.
Have the same sort of like respect towards every one of them.
That's a good rule in general. Is just always respect whoever you're with. Are you thinking of who I'm thinking of?
No.
Always
don't know.
always honor and respect whoever you're working with, because who knows, they may be an executive producer one day and you might be looking for work. Just a thought.
I would say just be nice, not for any sort of incentive. Just just be a good person.
Treat them like a human.
All right, so note taking when you're watching the auditions. Some things to keep in mind are accents they use. You can write about their looks if you have a specific kind of character you need. Sometimes it's nice to know how loud they speak or how soft they speak. Obviously, you're going to write good or bad, depending on their quality, but it's just things that are going to be beneficial to your script and your character layout.
Yeah, be looking out for people who also look similar to, like, you as a director. You should have an idea of what your characters look like in physical form. That's not something that all directors do, but it's something I definitely recommend so you know what you're looking for.
But in this instance, you can't be too particular because you are picking from a very limited lot of actors.
And unless you want to bring your friends along, and I would not recommend doing that to act, you're going to have to choose from this group or from another group of actors that you can find. So yeah, just keep in mind, like, okay, I need a character who looks like this, who's a young boy or a teenager or an adult woman. Just keep in mind of, like, okay, make a note, and if they did bad or whatever, make a note of that so that you know if you're like, oh, I can maybe work with this person, or let's see what they do with their next monologue. It's just something to keep in mind.
Yeah, and if you're able to manipulate your character layout at all, because some people have this standard character just all planned out, but embrace diversity and gender swaps if you can.
Yeah.
To have the best performance you're able to find. It'll also make your film interesting to a larger group.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
Yeah.
if you've got a strong male character and he's a total badass in this thing, if he comes out and there's no good guys who can act, if it has to be a woman, great, do that. That'll be much more interesting and a different take on that genre, especially. So, just something to keep in mind.
And at the end of casting calls, make sure you say thank you and applaud after their monologues. It's really nice to ask them questions about, where they live. That'll kind of give you an idea, if you're thinking about them, how hard it would be for them to commit to your project. It also just makes them feel like, you have general interest in them as an actor. They don't go away thinking like, oh man, I really botched that up. Nobody even, they just sent me right out.
Yep.
So, yeah, and be nice, say thank you. All the manners.
Communication with actors is one of the hardest things to do, but it's also one of the most key things to do if you want to get a good performance, or if you want to have a good experience with your actor. on the set and off the set. So after the audition, people are going to be giving you their emails, and we will have those emails listed on Facebook and on Canvas, I believe, for you to look at and be able to contact the actor. First thing I would recommend if you're going to contact an actor is approach them, thanking them for coming out to the audition. That's extra. If you can do that, be great. So that they know that they were appreciated being there. Send them the script, and then ask them, hey, this is our shoot week. Are you able to do this? And then let them read the script. Let them get back to you. If they don't get back to you in 3 days or 4 days, send a follow-up email like, hey, did you get this thing? And then go from there.
If the actor agrees to be in your short film and they seem, pretty on board, make sure you meet face to face with them before going on set. So that's not the first time you really meet them and get to know them personally. Just go to like a coffee shop or something and meet with them. Know that they're taking time out of their schedule to be in your feature and meet with you. So make sure you're not wasting their time. Make sure you're not wasting your time. Know what you're going to ask them and kind of have a set plan.
And be on time.
Be on time. Be there early. Directors should always be the first and last ones there. Well, at least in my experience. I feel like that is.
No, it's true.
Okay. So if you're late, they might get there way earlier than you if they're already in the area. But in most instances, since you're conducting the meeting, you should be there beforehand. If you're running late, contact them, shoot them a text, but don't keep them waiting. One, it's unprofessional, and two, again, with time wasting. And in that meeting, good things to go over is making sure they understand the schedule, making sure they understand the script and the character. That'll eliminate time on production, so you're not delaying shooting a scene because they want to know exactly what's going on with the character's head at that point. Just a general overview. They'll probably have questions, but you need to assume that they really don't have anything to say to you, and you just need to take charge and keep the conversation flowing.
Yeah. It's really your job as the filmmaker to create and mold this character with the actor facilitating that. And the one thing I would say is that the actors are really the ones who are putting the most at stake, at risk in this process, because you as a filmmaker know, like, I want to have fun, it's going to be a good experience, but you don't necessarily, without the actor, you don't have a performance. You as a crew, you can only move as fast as you can. It's good to be as fast as you can, just so that there's the time efficiency. But then the actor is coming on, and they're going to give it their best that they can, but they don't know what the final product is going to look like. You could edit it, and it could look like crap. So be understanding of that. They're putting the most on the line. They're taking they're taking time out of their schedule. They are saying yes to something, and that with people they've never worked with before, and they do want to work on this project because they did say yes. So approach it like that and have fun on set like that.
Well, and not only that, they're going to come into this knowing it's a student film. So expectations won't be as high as some productions. But that being said, there still needs to be a level of, proficiency and professional attitudes.
Yep.
Even if it's somebody you worked with before, if you're a crew member or even the director, that doesn't give you an excuse to mess around and waste time with them. Because your crew's going to be upset with that. They're going to be staying around. Just remain that kind of attitude throughout the process.
Yeah, and like I said on Wednesday, filmmaking is a very time-sensitive thing. So obviously you're trying to be the fastest you can, not dilling and dallying around. Everyone's got their job. You're having fun. But it's a different kind of fun. You're not sitting there spitting jokes and meeting up and have a camera on set and you're just chilling with the actors. That's not what this is. This is filmmaking. You're telling a story. You're having fun because the story's never been told, and because you guys are creating something and working with each other to make this great script and great story.
Also, if the actor tries to communicate with you via text, email, whatever, make sure you get back to them as soon as you can.
Yes.
If they're asking information you don't really know, let them know. You'll find out. That way, they're not thinking maybe you're not responding. Maybe the project's done. They're not confused. And really, the way you network in, the film communities is through reputation. So if you have a reputation for not getting back to people or stalling or just not being an avid communicator, like, people don't want to work with somebody who's not going to tell them what they need to know when they need to know it.
Yep, or respect their time. That's
Yeah.
that's forward thinking of networking. If you're going to continue doing this, great. For somebody, this is your first film, so create a good first name and a good first
The first impression.
first
yeah.
impression on this first film with whatever actor you're working with.
Director, one of your prime jobs is to work with the actors. They're displaying the story. You can get the frame perfect, you can get everything just beautiful, but if the actor doesn't know what they're doing, or you didn't speak with them, or go through the process with them, it's gonna make your product look bad. So make sure you make time to work with the actors. They know exactly what they're doing. While you guys are setting up, or finishing setting up, as it should be, let the actor take a moment and just kind of go over the lines again and really get into the feeling of the character. One thing I did in my first year, and I know a lot of other people did, we were so nervous about setting up the camera and making sure the line looked good. We didn't work with our actors, and some of the actors were really great anyway. Like, some of us got really lucky, but other people didn't do so well. And it was just forgetting to work with them. It wasn't even that anybody did a bad job. It was just that we didn't make time. So that's pretty essential. Another thing to consider is actors have a lot of tendencies, and one of those tendencies is to sort of focus in on one word of your direction. Oftentimes it's a verb, or it's a trait that they associate with their character. For example, if it's, this is a jerk reaction, this is an instant reaction, and their character's like, this character would act before thinking. They're going to give you something maybe a little brash, a little violent, and maybe you want something a bit calmer than that. You need to find what word they're focusing on, and oftentimes you can see this by maybe they keep repeating the word, like instant reaction, or just like they're zoning in when you mention instant reaction. It's just really subtle body language signals. But once you're able to replace that word with something more fitting, and you need to think about it before you toss out another one, because it might be just something you throw out, but they really focus in on that.
So be very intentional with your
Be
words.
very intentional. Don't be saying things you don't mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So be careful with your word choice. Maybe have some lines of motivation planned out beforehand in case they ask you, so you're not kind of scrambling like, oh man, what is my character's position?
Yeah.
You need to know your characters. You need to know your story, so the actors can know it too.
Yep.
So.
And something ready to go right along with that. On set, really the only person who should be talking to the actor is the director. Everyone else should be doing their job, and it's not a free-for-all of like, man, this actor is on set. Johnny Depp's on set. Let's all go talk to him. That doesn't happen on professional sets. Everyone does their job. They stay away. The only other person who really talks to the actor is the assistant director. If they're asking him like, hey, or just communicating, hey, we're going to be 5 minutes. Hey, we're ready for you in 10. Or the DP who's got like some basic blocking is something we're going to talk about. Some basic blocking notes for like, hey, so step here, step back, stand still, let me get a focus on you. That's really the only two people who should be talking on your guys' sets are the director and the DP. Everyone else should be doing their job, not interrupting the actors' thought processes, because acting is a difficult process in itself. It takes a lot of brain power and a lot of emotional power as well to bring out that performance. So some actors are completely chill and they'll want to talk to you and they'll want to just hang out. So that's great. If you've got someone like that, perfect. Just focus on your job, make sure your job happens. Your job gets done. Some actors are going to be completely wanting to have a separate space to get into their character, just to think about that spot, so that once the camera starts rolling and you say action, they're ready to just zone in, focus on that, and be ready to just move along. Something I would also say is, if you can, on a location, have a separate spot where the crafty and a green room is what it's called for the actor. In Hollywood, it's called trailer. On indie filmmaking, a room or a space that's away from everyone, that the crew is not allowed because their equipment's not going over there and nothing else is going over there except for the actor. They can have a spot where they can just get away from something, even if it's on the opposite side of the room. Great. That's gonna let them have that private space that they know they can just focus in on their character, or whatever else they need to prepare themselves. If they need to cry on that scene, they can get themselves worked up to that, and they're not talking to people, or they're not around loud noises as well. So
Just the tips with Brandon Marina.